Hi, Caleb from Brownells here. Today I'm joined by Sergeant Crooks. And I call him Sergeant Crooks. He's laughing, all right, because he was actually my old platoon sergeant back in the other lifetime ago when we were in the Army. So what we're going to be doing today is actually building out, I should say, this Henry 4570 to a tactical lever gun. So what are you going to be doing with this? What's your aspirations with this thing?
Everybody remembers, like, when you were a kid, you always wanted to be like the Lone Ranger.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody wants to mess with that old lever gun and have a good time. There's probably some plinking with it, but it's still good enough to go out and drop an elk or something.
Definitely, yeah. You could shoot a dinosaur. There's a movie about that.
Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
Chris Pratt had one. It was cool.
Way too much excitement in my lifetime already.
No dinosaur hunting in the near future.
No.
No planned. I should say planned.
Planned,
Unplanned.
yeah.
Weird things happen. So yeah, let's just kind of jump right into it, and we're gonna get this one stripped down so we can put some new Midwest Industries furniture on it.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into it here. So we're gonna be. I guess we can put it in the vise. Let's actually just turn it a bit, and then let me get some padded vise jaws so we don't mess up that pretty finish on there. All right. And the best place to grip it for this, we'll start right side up, and the receiver's flat, so we can just grip it on the receiver. I'll give that to you. Yep, that looks good. All right, so we're gonna pull the stock off first. That screw right there on top, that's the only thing holding the stock on. So if we pull that screw out, you can slide the whole thing off. Let me set you up with a screwdriver here. Toolkits we're using, this is the Fix It Sticks Field Armor Kit. Let me see what size we need here. Was that? No, it's a little too big. Almost, psych. Yeah, that bolt's going all the way through the stock from top to bottom, so.
Super long?
Yeah. Threaded portion shouldn't be too long though. There it is. All right. And then you can just give that stock a tug. There it is. Easy enough. Now let's go ahead and flip this over in the vise, and then we'll work on that handguard. All right, so I'll just pull out the magazine tube, the internal tube real quick. All right, so we have 2 screws on the side here. We're gonna start by removing those, and that should give us access to it. And if that driver's too big.
Too wide.
All right, yeah, there we go. So we're just taking off that handguard retaining cap. That'll come right off. A little different than messing with M4s outside the arms room.
You don't need no screwdriver.
Yeah. So we'll leave that right there for now. This is gonna have to come all the way off, so we're gonna have to pull off the magazine tube, but that's okay. This is just dovetailed into the barrel itself, so it's just kind of stuck there. We're gonna loosen that hex head screw there. I don't know what size it is, but I'm a good guesser. Sometimes. I bet you that's it.
Is that?
Yeah.
Is it reverse?
No, it's standard threads.
Okay. I have to turn it like that.
Okay. So to get this magazine tube off the rest of the way, now that that's loose and these are loosened, what we're going to need to do is actually drive the front of this out either left or right from that dovetail. And it's gonna be weird because it's like you're putting pressure on the tube and it's gonna be bending, but it's not gonna like actually bend, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's gonna feel unnatural.
Unnatural.
Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll put this thing in the vise, grab it nice and tight. I'll actually come just past that there. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a nylon tip punch, and we're just gonna drive this that way or that way, whichever's more comfortable for you. So let me grab my punches here. I remember having to do this on mine. All right, so whenever you're driving it, drive it as close down to the dovetail as possible. And actually, let me take a look real quick here. Yeah, so just basically drive it on the dovetail portion. That way you don't risk bending the actual top portion at all, because that dovetail is where all the meat is.
Oh no. Super easy.
All right, pull that off there. Now we can slide this forward. That's your magazine tube. This is your 4-end cap. Then you have this little dovetail piece here, cap retainer, handguard comes off. Now, it's stripped down. What we're also gonna do, because this thing has a top rail that goes all the way across the top, we're gonna pull off this rear sight because it's gonna be in the way. Okay. So we'll just flip it back over. Yeah, that's good right there. And then there's a set screw on top. If we just loosen that, what size is that thing?
Tiny.
Tiny, all right. See if I got some tiny here. And so you just loosen that up. There you go. You set that down. Give that dovetail a push, see if it's going to move freely. If it does not,
I don't know, this pin, is it a pin that's holding it in this hole?
No, it's not pinned. You can give it a little persuasion. Oh, you got it. Look at that. Who needs a sight press when you got iron thumbs?
Bro, broke my thumb on a toilet.
What?
Setting a toilet. Old people, don't judge.
Man, so I set one last weekend in my house.
Like it was a little, I had to shim it. In one of my rentals, I had to shim it, so I was pushing the shims in and broke my thumb. Sad, but true.
Jeez. Well, I'm glad you didn't break your thumb just now. That would have been depressing.
My wife would have laughed at me.
It'd be a cooler story, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's also. So the front sight that comes with this kit actually uses a set screw. This one's dovetailed in. Let's see if we will be able to do anything with it here. But first, let's pull it out. So this is, you're gonna use a brass punch.
Brass punch.
You're gonna grab your hammer.
Hammer.
And you're gonna hit that sight as low as you can to the barrel without hitting the barrel. There you go. Perfect. All right, so we may or may not put this back on depending on their rear sight height.
Okay.
And what I'll do real quick here, these are just plug screws. So when you don't have a optic rail on it, they just kind of sit there. But I'll just pull these out real quick for you because as you can see, the new handguard here is going to index in those holes for that top rail. And we'll go ahead and get this handguard set and then determine if we want to put that front sight back on or not. Okay. So what we'll do is grab this gun back in the receiver with the barrel pointing towards me. Nice and snug, doesn't have to be super tight there, perfect. And so here, it comes assembled. I'm just gonna pull these screws out for you, get it ready. Got oil on my fingers, so I couldn't. All right. And I'm just going to separate the top from the bottom. And that dovetail piece, that was the 4-end cap retainer with the screw holes in the side of it. We're going to need that again. Not that. Well, we will need that again, but this guy right here we'll need first.
Oh, this one.
And so the good thing about this is that we can actually reset that magazine tube, because this will just go right around it.
Okay.
So we don't have to fight trying to put it in once the handguard's on. So actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's flip this over to make it a little easier. And just snug, there you go. All right. So we had this, that went right there, and it just kind of floats in there. All right, and then the tube. So you can actually slide that tube in. And that, yeah, so this is the loading gate right here. So that's gonna face the front, so there you go. And then yeah, that faces the top. All right, and if you remember this screw that you pulled out.
That index screw?
Yep, that index screw. I'm gonna hand it to you. And if you notice, there's a hole. If you look down there, you can probably see the hole in the tube.
A little bit, yeah.
And you might have to rotate this a little to see it, maybe. Let me just get a visual right there. I should,
Like a pin?
There's a button on here, that's a flashlight. I don't remember which one it is though.
Fancy.
There it is. Yeah, so there's a hole in there. Perfect. Okay, so now let me turn off my
James Bond watch.
My James Bond watch. So no, this is actually the Garmin watch, and we sell it here at Brownells.
Oh.
So hey, look, there's some advertising. You can use this while you're gunsmithing. Man.
I have my flashlight, but I took it out of my pocket.
Well,
I was like, I won't need a flashlight.
you had to go through the security scan when you came in the building. You know.
Very in-depth security scan.
Yeah.
Felt naked.
Yeah, that's we don't do that for everyone. Yeah, that just needs to be nice and snug, just so it can't pull out. There you go. Okay. Now we need to go ahead and get this thing back in there. But when we do that, we got to make sure the tube is in it. And fortunately, it goes in easier than it came out. So we'll just kind of set it here. All right. So, depending on...
Tighten this up a little bit.
Yeah, that'll be okay. Let's actually grab it. We'll tighten
Closer
this,
to the
tighten
barrel.
that swivel. Yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of energy hitting it the other way. All right, and I'll just give this a little tap here.
A little more tappy.
A little more tappy?
A little more tappy. There you go.
All right. And then using a brass punch like that, you always transfer some of the brass over to the steel. But there is a cure for that. You can actually just use a little bit of regular cold blue. Now the cold blue doesn't really work on brass, but it is enough of a chemical reaction to strip it right off without harming the bluing. So I'll just grab one of my Q-tips here. And I'll just kind of clean up my mess before we go any further here. All right. And it's like it never happened. All right. Now, we were talking about putting on that handguard.
That is correct.
All right. Let's see if we got we'll go ahead and grab it by the receiver again.
Wait.
That'll be good. All right. And then this guy here is just going to go through and it'll lock in, but we may have to do some adjustment here. All right, so let me read the scroll. Move the factory handguard, remove iron sights, front and rear. Top edges of the 309 may have to be modified to fit certain rifles. All right, so we'll do a little modifying.
I think we should loosen this screw.
We're definitely going to need to loosen that screw.
Because it'll give it a little more play to...
Yep, so if you... Let's see how thick it is, because I might actually have to take a little material off of it. It may be thick enough. So yeah, that one goes into that handguard, and this back one right here is the one you're going to need to really loosen. Let's see if I got... It should actually be the same one we used for that tang screw. But thinner. Yeah, that one's really thin though, so. All right, so don't take it all the way out. And that there, if we loosen this, because it's clamping down on it. It should give us a little bit of play in it. So we'll grab this by that bottom tang. All right, we're not going anywhere. And then that screwdriver. I'm gonna push up on this a bit. Yeah, it's flexing. All right, so we'll set it on there. All right, so what we're gonna have to do,
shave it.
Yep, I'm gonna take a file and I'm gonna shave right off the top of that and reduce that material there. And I should actually be able to just do that right here. We can leave that in the vise. And I'll just position it here. This one has a safety edge on it. Once we get through that anodizing, which is probably all we're going to need to do, it'll be smooth cutting from there. Now it's cutting good. I got through that anodizing coating there. All right, then I'm gonna kind of touch up the bevel on the face here to help it slide in where it needs to go. Let me get some of those aluminum shavings out of here. Do one of these.
There you go.
Look at that. All right, so it's lining up with those side screws. That's good. I'm actually gonna give it a little, I'm gonna move that optic there. I'm gonna try to remember which drawer my nylon tipped hammer's in. And I'm just gonna give it one of these. And what we're doing is we're just making sure it lines up with these screws on the side.
Okay.
That looks pretty good. All right, so now what we need to do, this big screw back here, we'll tighten that back down. Yeah, it's all right. It's a pretty thin bit. There you go. All right, so now what we're gonna do as we install these screws and stuff on this handguard, we're gonna put everything in snug but not tight.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go back and torque everything once it's all together. So what we're gonna need, so you have this one here. So what we're gonna, we're gonna put these in last actually, because we're gonna put some Vibratite on them.
Okay.
So they can't back out. And we'll do on these here, we'll just do a little bit of blue Loctite. Or blue Brownells thread locker, I should say.
Oh.
And then first we're gonna have to make sure it's open. Because if you don't open it,
It won't come out.
nothing, yeah,
Crazy concept.
yeah, you know.
10% smarter than the equipment you're working with.
That's all it takes.
That's a teachable moment. You remember that saying?
Listen,
All you gotta do, be 10% smarter.
my wife told me that. I was putting flooring down and last weekend. My wife told me that, so
Oh,
she remembers. But what I like to do, I'll spill a little bit on there,
Okay.
or a lot of bit, depending on whatever. And what I'll do, I'll take the fastener, put it on the driver, just kind of dip it in there and go in. And these two here, I'll let you install those. Those are our side mount screws.
Okay.
There it goes. All right, so now that one's started, switch to the other one, and then we'll kind of work them back and forth until they're tight. Yeah, that's plenty there. Can't have screws backing out when you're hunting dinosaurs, you know?
Dinosaurs.
Or playing cowboy. Modern M-LOK cowboy. There we go. All right, and then now you can snug this one back up too. Yep, and then it'll kind of want to pull one way or the other, but that looks pretty good. All right, so now to help stabilize this handguard, they have these screws right here, and these are they're made of brass. They're gonna basically gently index on the barrel and on the back. So this short one will go in the back here. And again, you can just put a little bit of Loctite on those threads.
I need a smaller driver. Like dip.
You know,
Oh, that one.
yeah, that's probably the right one. And whatever you need, I got it.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, look, that's all I'm here for is a handy tools.
Yeah. I need your expertise.
Yeah. You out of luck on that one. And then just until it gently touches that magazine tube. All right, and then same thing with those, just until they touch that barrel. So you can feel them making contact, and then that's where you're gonna wanna stop them. And it's gonna go in at an angle like that. You're gonna have to raise it a little further. A little further.
More.
Yeah.
There we go.
Still got a little ways to go.
Is it touching?
Nope, keep going. I can see it. All right, you're close to contacting. There it is. That's it. All right, and you can see as it touched the barrel, the handguard kind of flexed a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's perfect because it's putting pressure on that handguard to help stabilize it. Feel like you're visiting me in the arms room or something, you know, remember?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
That's how he found his love. We put him in the arms room.
Yeah, they stuck me in the, savants broke, stick them in the arms room.
I was not like that.
Yeah,
You wanted to be there.
I did.
You wanted to
Listen,
reclass.
I did.
I remember
Hey,
the conversation.
I did. I'm just giving.
He's like, hey, sir, I'm really into guns. I'm thinking about reclass. And I'm like, well, obviously, because you can't really do this anymore. So if that's what you want to do, I asked you that.
You did,
You're
yeah.
like, yes, I want to do that. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, so that's, I know, I'm
Don't try to make me the bad guy.
listen, I'm just trying to give you a hard time while you're doing this. That's,
I didn't stick him in the arms room. He was a good one. He was actually a good one. He listened. He was a good gunner.
yeah.
No problems. Already had a wife. No problems.
Yeah.
Didn't have to worry about him doing cocaine.
That's wonderful.
It's a true statement.
It is. It is.
Almost chaptered both of them. Ended up being two of the best soldiers I had. Crazy. I said the bad ones are the ones you take to war.
Yeah, I'm just kind of lining this up here a little bit. It's a little off to one side, but that's okay. It's an easy adjustment. Do that before that thread locker sets. And all I'm really looking for is just equal gaps on the sides of the barrel. That's it. All right, so now that the actual handguard portion itself is locked in,
Okay.
let's flip this over and knock out that top rail. And then we'll set it at the receiver. That's good right there. Okay. So the top rail itself is gonna mount on the handguard as well. So it's just gonna slide, sit there, and then,
It's 4 index holes.
yeah, so we're gonna loosely put in these 4 screws.
Okay.
Then we're gonna loosely put in these 2. Then we'll work on that rear side area. So what you will need are, these are the 4 we took out of there. So these 4 go in the front, and let me get you the right driver.
And we can put some thread lock on this too.
We can, yep.
We're gonna need another dab.
That's hey.
Another dab will do you.
Is that a hair joke?
From the Dapper.
Here we go. Dapper Dan.
I'm gonna let you know, he didn't have all this hair in the army.
Listen, when I shaved my head
He's
before
bald,
we deployed.
cue ball.
Yeah, but by the time I left Afghanistan, I had a nice haircut.
He had a
They
nice
the-
little coif.
On Fob Shank, they had those Russian women that cut hair.
A nice little coif going by then.
Yeah, I had it. I was hooking it up. I knew what I was getting into. I was like, I saw myself with some hair, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm on to something.
You was on to something.
Yeah, mostly because I have big ears and like
You're trying to hide that.
I got it. Yeah, the bigger hair kind of distracts from.
I think you were just trying not to look like Revis.
Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, I remember one time we were driving through that town. Revis was my driver. I was the gunner, right? And they had a funeral going on. So all these local nationals running through the streets, crossing back and forth. And I'm sitting in the gunner turret, and this crowd crosses the street, and there's one of those. It's very obvious because it's one of those Italian anti-tank mines it's tan with the fins on it. And I yelled, "Stop!" And he was like, he had the nerve to look back and say, "Why?"
Revis.
Yeah, and that's about it. Sergeant Kieha kind of tore into him at the time. He started. Now, I don't want to say he was physically abusive, but the vehicle stopped. Because they couldn't see it, because we had the rollers.
Yeah.
Only I could see it, and I was like, dang. There's a...
Mine right there.
Yeah, it turns out it wasn't, it was just the top of the mine. It wasn't even the whole mine. They were just messing with
But
us.
still.
Yeah, I know. It could have, what if it was?
Too late.
Yeah. We would have hit it with the rollers, and I would have got my bell rung, but that would have sucked.
Yeah.
Anywho, what are we doing here?
Oh, wait, we're looking for some more screws for the back end.
Okay, I got what you need.
Loose fitting.
I got what you need. Let me see. All right, so there's 2 there, and then there's 2 here. So this is the rear side. So what we're going to be dealing with here, let me check the length on these.
Gonna need a star bit.
Okay. Let me check this out real quick here, though. Okay, yeah, so the longer ones are the ones that go in the rear sight, so they're going to be in the back.
Okay.
Shorter ones are going to be in the front. And it looks like a T10, I'm going to guess.
Sounds good to me. All I know is T25.
Well, this is a T15, so I'll meet you in the middle. All right, the other short one there. And we'll put a little bit of Loctite on that too. All right. And then the rear sight. So this, if you look at it here, is non-directional because you actually adjust the sight up and down just by turning it because it threads in. But what you're going to want to do on the actual sight housing, if you notice, you have index marks there,
Yep.
and then you have a line on the back. So this is going to sit in there just like that.
Oh, tick marks.
And it's adjustable left and right by sliding it.
Yeah.
So you want to set it on that center line and then put your screws in. That's why I keep that magnet there. I can just stick screws to it.
Fancy.
Yeah. And you're gonna need something different? You got what you need, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then you need some more Loctite.
Yeah, another dab will do you.
Another dab of Dapper Dan. People in the comments, you know, what's the best gun oil to use in your hair, all this and that. You know?
CLP.
Actually, Cosmoline has better hold if you're doing stuff like out at the range in the wind. You know, it's a little thick. It's a grease. But if you just going to church on Sunday, some CLP in there.
CLP real quick.
You're good to go.
Have it on deck.
Easy.
I don't have that problem. Just keep same haircut.
Yeah. Well,
Low maintenance.
must be nice.
Ready to go all times.
It's all right. I go to the barber shop. He has free bourbon. It's just an excuse to drink bourbon.
Free bourbon.
I mean, free with a haircut.
Oh, okay. Shouldn't be terrible then.
No, not at all. Sit there, get my hair cut, sipping on some bourbon.
No cigar?
No.
No indoor smoking?
All right, so what we'll do is we'll tighten this one down, then we'll jump across to the opposite corner.
Crisscross.
Crisscross applesauce.
My daughter just said that yesterday. Daddy, we gonna sit crisscross applesauce?
You were like, no, applesauce gives me diarrhea. Because I'm old now.
I know. Prune juice. Drink that. Gotta keep your fiber up.
All right. We getting there. All right, so the kit itself is designed to be used with the screw-on front sight. And this is obviously a dovetail setup, so we are unable to use that sight. However, the sight height itself is pretty dang close to the factory sight, which means we should have enough adjustment here if we just run it down to still retain that sight. Maybe. We'll see. So I'm going to put this guy back in here. Let's go ahead and pull this.
Rotate.
And we'll try it like that. That's good right there. All right. I'm actually going to rest the back on the table, because it shouldn't take much to get it back in there.
Famous last words.
Famous last words. How's that looking?
Good enough for government work.
All right. If it's off just a hair, we can. It'll adjust via the rear, so it's okay. And I'm just gonna clean up my mess a little bit here. Same thing on the other side. And then this aluminum on the barrel here, I should. Brush off as well. Okay. So, yeah, you can see it. You can see that gold bead sticking up over that rail, which you have a 1 to 6 anyway, so you probably never ever yeah.
Use that. Back up. Worst case scenario.
Yep. All right. So now we'll put the stock on.
Oh boy.
It's smooth sailing from here. So if you open that up, yep, shut that. All right. So here's the stock itself. And standard stock bolt looks like it'll work just fine. I'll hand that to you.
Oh, I'm gonna force it. There we go.
All right. And then I'm gonna hand this to you. Actually, I'm gonna not give that to you.
All right.
I'm gonna set you up with the driver first. I think this was the one we used. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So, the furniture is on the gun. Make sure our internal tube, get that in there here. All right. So, now that the meat of the build is done, we can start accessorizing.
Accessories.
Yeah. So I think first, oh, you gotta turn it the right way. Yeah. That's part of the, anywho. So, we have an optic. We're running an EOTech Vudu 1 to 6, one of my favorites, which would be perfect for this gun. We got our sling. We do have, for the front here, So we have a sling mount, or QD socket. And then we have this J-Mag hand stop. Just to kind of, we'll place this neatly. And then we can put that where, so let's pull it out of the vise here.
See where my hands go.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, take your hands, put it on that, and just kind of shoulder it and see where your hand falls in the front. All right, so.
Maybe I'll reach out and get a little more gun.
Yeah, there you go.
My fingers are in the way. Where's my?
What are you talking about?
My fingers are in the way for my peep sight. It's weird. I don't know.
Well, you're gonna be using
time with a Levergun.
Yeah, that's okay. You're gonna be using the optic anyway, so I'd say just do whatever feels good. You know.
Feels natural.
Yeah.
About there.
All right. So towards the front.
Yeah.
All right. I see it. So we'll just grip this back in here, lock it in, and we don't even have to remove that sling stud where it's at. You just reach up and grab you some gun.
Grab some gun.
Yeah. Now, that's dad advice. Reach up and grab some gun. We're giving a lot of advice here today.
A lot of dad advice?
A lot of, all of it. All right, so the only thing I don't like about these is that they use 2 different size screws, but I forgive them for that because it's a good product. All right, you ever installed M-LOK accessories before?
Once or twice.
Once or twice?
Once or twice.
Maybe.
Once or twice.
So you want to know my secret way of doing that?
What's your secret way?
Let me show you. I'm gonna do it on the back one,
Okay.
and then I'll let you do the front one.
Let me see.
So what I do, I screw it all the way in, all the way in, all the way in.
Okay.
And then I just set it on there. Then I just undo it a few turns. Locked in.
Nice.
Yeah. Magic.
My Uncle Sam taught me a different way.
The hard way?
Definitely the hard way.
Yeah. So, is that the right size? No. It is not the right size.
Old habits, hard to break.
Yeah. Yep, it locked. You good. Boom.
Do you trust it?
I mean, it's not 90 degrees, it's 45, but it's still locked. It's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So, all right. So, all right, take it out the vise, grab the gun again. All right, so the back of your sling, you have options. Here, here, or up top. So you can, I'm gonna show lefty because I'm weird,
Yeah.
But you can potentially run your sling front on one side, come around the other, and then run the opposite side. So here and here, which if it was an AR or something like that, that's how.
No, let's set it up like it's an AR.
Okay, yeah, that kind of make things, like hold this, like, I'm gonna step back here, James.
Like, more like this.
Demonstrate.
I don't know why I hold it like this, I wonder.
So yeah, like how.
2-point, yeah.
Yeah, how this one's set up.
That's definitely how I use mine.
Yeah, so right side then left side, so when you shoulder it, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already ready. Come on.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Go to work.
Man, I feel like we should go rob a bank or something. Like
Wow. All the way to bank? let's just stick to the range.
Never mind.
We'll just go to the range. Just go rob a bank.
Your reaction made me think you're not about that, so we won't do that.
I'm not going to jail for anybody.
You ever seen the movie Heat?
I love Heat.
That's kind of what I was feeling.
I saw, Val Kilmer just passed.
I know, his poster's in my office.
I saw it. R.I.P. By the way. So I was talking to my wife. So we watched Top Gun.
Yeah.
A couple nights ago. And I was like, man, I still think Heat is the best shooting scene ever in every movie. She looks at me and is like, what's Heat? I was like, oh my God. I filed for divorce immediately.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's a good way to tell. There's some more advice there, Man, I ask people I work with here sometimes, like, oh yeah, Heat, and they're like, what's Heat? And I'm like, okay. I know what's at the top of your watch list.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer. Man. Just to name a few.
If you haven't seen Heat, I don't want to say stop watching this video, but turn it and pause it. Hit the pause button.
Search Heat shootout scene.
Come back. Listen, we'll still be here when you get back.
Come back.
So go watch it.
You will enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you're a gun person.
Even if you're not, if you're watching this right now, you're a gun person. I think.
I would assume.
I would assume. If not, you need to become. You know what? We're not getting into that.
No.
Let's continue talking about this here. So you're a righty.
I'm a righty.
Okay. So you're gonna want your front sling mount on the left side, and then we'll plug into the rear right side. Yes. Cool. So we have another M-LOK accessory here. And when you're plugging your sling in, do you like to run it up front or closer to the back?
Close to the back.
Yeah, I feel that too.
I like the front to have a little swing in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it don't.
We'll go about
far.
right here. Okay, so we'll plug the sling in last, but it's ready to go. We can just plug and play there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead. You want a flashlight on this thing?
Sure.
I feel like you need a flashlight. on this
Nighttime.
thing. Yeah.
Not always prepared.
All right. So, since you're doing one of these numbers, wow. All right.
Right here.
Stick it right there. Put the pad on top.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good to me. Let's set it in the vise so that they can see what's going on a little better, you know? It doesn't need to be in a vise for this. In case you're wondering, this is the Brownells gunsmith vise. When I say the vise, I mean it's the vise.
I like it.
All right. I knew you would.
I like it.
I put that thing on there, I was like, he's gonna like this.
He's not lying.
I'll just, I'm already here. I'll throw it on for you. And this is a cloud defense rain. And pretty high output light, so you're not gonna have any trouble seeing anything. And then this one uses an 18350 battery, which goes in the front, so I don't know why I'm trying to put it in now. The back cap on these screws on. You ever used one of these before?
Not one of those.
All right. Yeah, I mean like cloud, the cloud
I
specifically.
think the government has a contract with Surefire.
Yeah.
So,
I do love my
we use
Surefires.
Surefires.
Yeah, I got my Surefire on that gun back there. I love my Surefires.
Scout, Surefire Scout, to be exact. Yeah.
That's the one, man. That's a good light. But the cloud makes a good light too, and they have these slots cut in so you can,
That's fancy.
yeah, kind of index where you want your cable to go. We'll put the cable there so we can do a little bit of management here.
Cable management.
Yeah, and we'll get it like, actually, I wonder if we could tuck it. Might be it's too close to the mount. So we got to go right there.
That's fine.
That's okay. And if we need to do anything further, I got some zip ties. All right, and then we'll just do one of these. Plug this in. I'm OCD when it comes to cable management. So I'm just thinking of,
It's got to be pretty.
it's got to be pretty.
It just
Like,
can't snag.
if you look at that gun there, like there's so much stuff on that gun and there's no cables anywhere. But there's cables.
Can't see him.
Can't see them. Ooh, what if we go under?
I like it.
Yeah, that's okay, and it's not gonna, actually, if I pull it out, rotate it this way, come under and then in. You end up with a little bit of cable there, a little bit of cable there, and it's not going anywhere. I think I like that better. We'll just throw the back cap on. And that's the cloud defense light.
I like it.
Face of the light's just behind the muzzle, so you're not gonna get too dirty there. And we'll just throw the battery in. I don't remember which way it goes in, but I know it goes in. We'll try this way. We'll try the other way.
50-50.
You would think it's 50-50 until I get it out and forget what side I put it on.
Magnet.
Magnet. Magnets are magic. There we go. Now you can see.
Get off my purse.
I don't know you. Oh, that's great. All right, let's mount an optic.
All right.
So we have our base here. This is a Brownells one, and I'm gonna put this on kind of nice and snug once we determine. All right, we'll have to see. I think that's gonna. We'll have to see if that clears the rear sight. So let's see what's up. Let's see what happens.
Okay. No on sight bite.
No, the optic. The only thing that optic should be touching is the mount. All right, and we'll lay that on there. We'll just use that as kind of a reference point. Drop this on here. Ooh. We are clear. We are good to go. Mm-hmm. So, I'm gonna move this about right there. All right, then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lock these down. And I have a special way to level this scope. It's gonna blow your mind.
You put a level on it?
Not even, no.
Oh.
I got some magic tools.
Magic.
Yeah.
All right.
First I'm just gonna clamp these down real quick here. All right, and those are some screws. It's important not to over torque because if you over torque them, there'll be so much stress on them that whenever your firearm, especially a 4570 recoils, it adds even more stress to those cross bolts and then can snap them. I've seen that happen quite a bit. Not with these mounts in particular, just mounts in general. Even like red dots on handguns, people over torque those screws. When that slide starts cycling, that optic goes.
It was flying off.
Where'd it go? It's gone.
What happened?
Yeah. All right, so we'll set this on here. We'll take our ring tops. We'll take our wrench. I'm just gonna loosely put this on here so that you can determine your eye relief. And when I put ring tops on, I like to start one side, switch to the other, and then make the gaps even so that it looks like a professional did it, you know?
Ooh.
I like to fool people into thinking I know what I'm doing. But just gently, little happy little trees.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, no mistakes, just happy little accidents. I'm just kidding. When you're doing guns, there's definitely mistakes.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Catastrophic. Could be worst case scenario.
Yeah, you gotta. It's not all mountains and clouds.
No.
And then we will hit these screws with a torque wrench too. All right, so what I'm gonna do, ejection port side, so I remember, I'm gonna loosen all those screws. Now you can move your optic around so you can shoulder it, determine your eye relief, do what you need to do, and then we can throw it back in there and torque it down.
Figure it out. Yeah, that's good.
All right, and also check it on the higher magnification because that'll actually change it up a little bit too.
I'm gonna do that. It's not tightened down.
Yeah, that I can hold that for you, and then yeah, here we go. And then what we'll also do, that cheek piece is adjustable, so we can raise that thing up.
Definitely need to do that. Still low. What I need.
What do we need?
I don't know. You try.
Let me see here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, we're gonna have to come way further back. Yeah, because we need to be about right there.
Yeah.
So we need to move this whole mount
Probably, yeah.
back. All right. So let me grab the old wrench here. And then anytime you're putting a mount on a rail, when you tighten it down, if there's a little play back and forth, you want to make sure the optic mount is pushed forward as much as possible. Okay, so now let's take a look and see what we're working with here. That cheek weld's still probably not going to be perfect, just because we're on a high mount to get over that sight. All right, so we decided to change the mount from that Brownells mount to this Trijicon mount, simply because this one sits a little bit lower. So it was just better all around. So we were able to get the optic further back and lower, which is exactly what you needed. So this is the correct eye relief roughly here. Obviously that front ring's not on, but let's see if my super secret level method I have will work with the mount this low. I say super secret, it's not. I've done it in videos before, but I'm just gonna get these rings kinda set here. Even gaps. I'm kind of excited we got to use this Trijicon mount because it's one of my favorites. And the crazy thing about these Trijicon mounts, so they claim because of the way it clamps on, even if these side screws here come loose, that it'll still retain 0 because of the way it grabs the rail, which is pretty cool. All right, so these are hand tight, but if you loosen them, they're spring loaded like that, but they're pretty solid. So, where was I? I'm gonna loosen the ejection port side. Make sure our optic can rotate, which it can. And then, let me find it.
Unlabeled armorer's box.
Oh, here it is. Hey, yeah, I told you, I need to label. I gotta label these drawers. So, this is a Arasaka scope leveling tool. Now, hopefully, I may not be able to use it, but what it does, it goes under the optic, and then this angle runs in to level the bottom of the optic to the rail. So it's super fancy, and I'm super bummed out we can't use it right now. But that's okay. So what we'll end up doing, all right, we'll just tighten those down, and then, so we want to level it.
Torpedo level on the turret, little one.
Right, so I know this file to be flat and true. So what I'll do is I'll place it against the bottom of the optic. So I'm gonna place one on the top turret, and I'll just go ahead and level that. I know it's not level to the gun yet, but this will just make it easier for what I'm about to do. I'll place a level on the file, press it up against the bottom, and they are pretty dang close. So I think it would be okay to level off that top turret in this scenario. All right. So now we need to level the gun. Or we just need to, we don't actually have to level the gun, we just need to make sure these two bubbles read the same thing. So this one is just touching that line on the side. And those two bubbles are reading the same, so now we know the optic is level to the gun. All right, so what we need to do at this point is I'll snug these back up before I let you start torquing stuff down. And we're gonna leave those levels in place because things like to move when you start torquing them, and we need to make sure we minimize that. We are gonna go
inch pounds.
Definitely inch pounds.
Not foot pounds?
If you're doing foot pounds, you need to pump the brakes. We're just gonna go an even 20. That should be plenty. So just star pattern on those and you're good to go. And we'll just kind of watch them and make sure none of these bubbles move here. We're looking good. And then once you have both sides torqued on one of the rings, you pretty much don't have to worry about it moving at that point. It's just that first initial ring is where you run the risk. So he's going to go through, he's going to torque them all in a star pattern. Then he's going to go through and do that exact same thing again. So he's going to torque them all twice. And then we'll be good to go. The reason he's torquing them all twice is because that aluminum will flex a little bit as he's tightening down. Perfect. All right. I'll take that. I'll take the torque wrench. We can plug this guy in here. All right, so here's your adjustment. So that's in the front. And I know you can't see what we're doing, but if you used the QD socket before,
Just push the button.
just push the button.
Push the button.
That little
Push
girl.
the button.
Remember that little girl in Rush Hour? Push the button.
Push the button.
Oh yeah. So that one you're gonna want to go to the other side, because that's your. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Like it.
All right. So we do have some M-LOK rail panel covers. If you want to put, that's for the side grip there. If you want to put those on.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right.
Keep your hands from getting messed up.
And then you ever use these before?
No.
You just put them on. The insert goes on top. And they lock in like that. So I'll pour these out for you here. And I know I did it not showing y'all, but just watch him do it. It's pretty straightforward. And you don't have to use all of them, just use what you need. I'd say probably right here too. I'll throw one there for you. And he's putting some on the back too. That's not where his primary grip is going to be, but in different shooting positions and situations, you often have to adjust your grip. So he's putting some back there, so if he needs to grab it further back, he has some texture there to do it.
Grippy.
Grippy. It's grippy.
I like it.
Sweet. So the gun build is the done build.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm rhyming now. That's what I'm doing. But no, that's all there is to it. So let's go hit the range with it a little bit.
Sounds good.
Let's do some shooting. All right, so we're out here at Big Spring Shooting Complex. We're gonna get a good 25-yard zero. Then we're gonna stretch it out to the 100 a little bit. Once the zero's done, that's it, man. You're good to go. I'll release you back out into the wild, I guess you can say. But no, we're gonna be shooting the Hornady Lever Evolution. I like to say like a Leverlution. But this is the 325 FTX. So that flex tip. This is just a good round for anything. You can use this for anything. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started and get a good 25-yard zero on paper.
Oh yeah. See anything?
I do not see where that one went.
I was going for center mass.
Put one on the top of the target.
All right, top right?
Top
left?
center.
Top center? How you get top center? It's 5 of them.
Yeah, I know. Just put it on the line. I'm just trying to find out where your shots are going.
All right, top center. Here we go.
There we go. All right, so your impact was top of the diamond on the center.
I see that.
So you can make adjustments based on where you were aiming from there.
All right. We need to come.
Come up. That's about That's about 2 inches. So 25 yards. 1 inch will be. Let's see, because it's 16 clicks. Is that, what's the adjustment on that optic? I should say 1.2 MRAD.
Yeah.
Dang. Just come 6 clicks and we'll do it again.
Where you want me to aim at?
Center mass.
Center mass. Here we go.
All right. In the diamond, a few inches to the left, go ahead and put another one there. We'll get a group now. All right, that one was bottom of the diamond. Yep, that one was just below that last shot. So I think that's probably your shot groove there. Those last two.
Yeah.
So let's just come up 6 more inches. I got 3 more boxes, so don't worry about the end. We got plenty. was up 6. All right. Right above the dot. That one was right in the middle of that bottom group. Same spot. Yeah, same spot again. Come up 3, and then that should be a good 100-yard 0. Yeah, right under the diamond. So that's about 1 inch low at 25, so that should put you about dead on at 100.
Yeah.
Hit. Hit, dead center. Just off the top. Hit, low center. Hit, center. Yeah.
I think it works.
I think it works. All right, so we knocked out that 25-yard 0, came out here, put some rounds on steel at 100 just to verify. Everything's good to go, it shoots.
Oh yeah,
right.
and she runs.
All right, well, congratulations on your new rifle.
Thank you.
All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below. As always, if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.